If it's first, you ain't afraid to smoke, ain't you know let us put on more steam. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, sides, 2 games after this win in. First, you again, we're here for the first of May. Carry block, you never 6 minutes.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Unbelievable place. Great university. Knoxville's unbelievable city, great people. The passion for football is even greater than I thought it would be. And man, Neyland Stadium, I said it, a couple of years ago, and I still think it's the best football experience for a college football fan or a player in the country.
We've got to raise the bar, and we've got to continue to raise the bar. I don't think any of those young men, when they signed to come to Tennessee, they signed to say they wanted to come and be a part of a 7-6 program. All right, they said they wanted to come and compete for championships, SEC championships, national championships. I know that's what I want. I know that's what Tennessee wants. I know that's what the expectation is. So we've got to continue to reassess everything that we're doing and make sure that we're continuing to move the needle in the right direction.
The culture that Hype and everyone has created in this building, it's been phenomenal on teams, and we're only going to continue to be better. And the standard around here, I've said it before, I'll say it again, standard is to be the damn best. And we're never stopping.
Just making sure that the little things are taken care of, like getting our cleats in the dirt and just playing.
What we have to do is make sure that we got our cleats in the ground before the ball is snapped. I think that's the key to the game, and make sure that
just get our cleats in the ground, execute calls, the urgency of communicating and getting lined up.
Yeah, you got to get your cleats in the ground and you got to go play.
I think the pressure they put on you is that they can score so fast. And that's the challenge. You got to get your cleats in the ground and be able to make routine plays routinely.
Oh my God, we should leave it at that.
Okay.
We should close with that. That is the mind blower of mind blowers.
Good.
I was driving down the highway on an August Friday night. Everything was going great. I was feeling fine till I looked into my rear view. Caught me by surprise. It was Barney and his partner. They're flashing their blue lights. Now I'm sitting in the pen and I'm staring at the floor. They done took my freedom. I can't walk around no more. And I said goodbye to the honky-tonks and my social good time. All because I flew .09. Well, the cop turned me around, he said, I'm taking you to jail. Do you have someone in mind that could come pay your bill? I said, no sir, most of my friends are pretty damn broke. Then he slapped those cuffs up on me and Barney slammed the door. Now I'm sitting in a pen and I'm staring at the floor. They done took my freedom, I can't walk around no more. And I said goodbye to the honky-tonks, my social good time. All because I blew .09.
Good Wednesday evening and welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley.
I'm Dauber.
I'm X. And this is Coach Rice.
I'm Coach Rice. It lagged for a second.
Hey, we're off and running. Boys, man, it is a freaking big game coming up on Saturday. It is very odd. It is very odd. I say this all the time. You can kind of gauge where this fan base is at based on YouTube numbers. I've been doing this a long freaking time, and I can kind of gauge the energy level of the fan base based on how many people are showing up to live streams, watching videos. It is eerily quiet right now for a game that is probably the most important game on the schedule. And I know, coach speak, the biggest game is the next game. It's a big freaking football game coming up on Saturday, Dauber. It is huge, huge.
100%. I mean, I think Saturday sets up the rest of the season. You're gonna take momentum with you into that Georgia game, or you're gonna be licking your wounds for another tough game. But going on the road down to Columbia, Missouri, it's going to be tough sledding Saturday afternoon for the Vols. I see it being a pretty tight game, pretty even matchup. Both teams are 7-2, and both. This is maybe the third game that on paper the teams have a lot of similarities. So. We'll dive into all that here in the next little bit, but man, it's been a long week for me at work, so I've not been into much. I can't account to things being silent because I've not had time to look at stuff. But it is a big game, like you said.
Where's your energy level at, X? Where are you at on this football game? Is it just another freaking game to you, or does it feel like the season is hinging on Saturday afternoon?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. This is a make you or break you, man. This is gonna determine whether we're gonna either be like 9-3 or 8-4. Yeah, you definitely want to go down to Missouri, and you definitely need to handle business. And like we were all trying to get riled up for this Georgia game, because if you go into this game and if you lose, I mean, it's just gonna be kind of a sour loss once Georgia comes into town, and you're gonna kill that momentum. But yeah, man, I mean, I'm pretty excited for this game. A little bit nervous, but I think we're going to come out on top, and I know we're going to get into, gameplay and all that later on. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty excited for it.
Coach, how we feeling on this Wednesday evening?
And I'm confident, man. I think we're playing our best ball right now. I think as a team, I mean, I know we had our defensive struggles against Kentucky, but I think it took us a game or two to get used to not having Kamal Haddon on one of the sides at corner. I think as a team we're playing like I said, I think our team is playing the best ball we've played all season right now. And I've not only me thinking that, I've heard that from several sports analysts saying Tennessee's playing their best ball right now. Of going up to Missouri, and people say about recovering from playing a team like Georgia or playing Alabama. What type of mind state are they in coming back from playing Georgia? I mean, I know it affects every team differently, but us having back-to-back very physical, I mean, Missouri having back-to-back very physical games could put a toe on them, especially late in the game.
Let me roll up here and hit the early arrivals. See, was hanging out bright and early, and I want to come back because that's a good point, and I thought about getting into it later, but now I kind of want to talk about it right now, and I'm going to forget. I'm going to forget after I do all this stuff. I'll forget, so remind me the toll that game took on Missouri last week. If I forget, you guys keep me straight and on the path. Dakota was here bright and early. He was here at 4:48. Said, go Vols, the only thing good that comes out of Columbia, Missouri is Chinese food, and this win we're going to get on Saturday. Shout out to Dakota. Dakota's out there on social media, and he's being a trooper, man. Every time I post, he likes it, he retweets it, and he leaves a comment. That's how you drive the algorithm. So shout out to Dakota for being the street team out there. David Burgess was here bright and early dropping those custom Talkin VAWLS emojis. James Bowers is here, says, good evening. It's absolutely the biggest game. We need this dub. We're going to talk about just how important this game is coming up throughout the show. Noah James is here dropping the custom Talkin VAWLS emojis. We appreciate that. Rocky Top Tom is dropping facts about war history, but shout out, Tom. You're the man. Zachary is here. What's up? Ladarian Roper says, going to win by 2 touchdowns. Pit Boss drops a $5 super chat, says, Dorfy, got to win this game. That's for sure. William Dyer also drops a $5 super chat and says, Dorfy, Vols by 50. We got 179 people. That means 177 of you stuck in the back door. You didn't pay a door fee, didn't pay the entry fee. You just snuck right in. Shame on you. For shame. Drop those door fees. Drop those entry fees. The super chats are what pay the bills around here. We appreciate the support. If not, at least hit the thumbs up because that's quick, free, and easy. And hit that share button just below the video. Get this thing on Twitter, Facebook, all social media platforms. We would appreciate it. Let's come back and let's talk about it. Talking about, the Missouri playing Georgia last week, right? And they got beat up, and it was a physical toll. And then also you look at Tennessee. They took care of business at homecoming against Connecticut. It was never in doubt. They played 83 position players. I don't know how. Can't you only dress 85?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that's the number. But how many kickers? Didn't they have 2 kickers in the game? And plus Jackson Ross? Maybe I didn't do the math right, but they played just about everybody that was on that sideline. It was good for certain guys like Jabari Small. He was banged up. If they were playing Missouri last week, he would have played, but he had a week to recover. This team had an opportunity to get healthy and focus on Missouri. But then something else, I want to kind of tie this together. Missouri was playing for an SEC East title last week against Georgia, and they blew it. They blew it. How do they bounce back? How do they respond? How do you get motivated when you know, hey, the SEC East is gone, right? I got no shot. On the flip side, Tennessee's got Georgia coming up next week. That's why I think this is the biggest game of the year, because if you lose to Missouri, man, how do you get this team up and ready to go play a Georgia team next week when there's nothing on the line? There's no shot at Atlanta. If you've got an outside shot at Atlanta next week, Georgia is in trouble. Coach Rice, that's a lot to unpack. What are your thoughts on that? Just how important this game against Missouri is, and how do they bounce back when they really got nothing to play for?
Well, I mean, and going on what you're saying, for us, for Tennessee, we got everything to play for. That's our chip on our shoulder right now. We still can go. I mean, yes, things have to, go our way. Ole Miss has to beat Georgia, and we won't know that because they play later than us.
Right.
So we got to go out and handle our business. And if the fate is in our hand, fate's in our hand. But we got something to play. We still have the chance to go to Atlanta. I mean, we still got more to play for than just that. But Missouri, they put their whole hearts, their everything, their game plan. Like, I mean, they're still going to game plan for us, but I guarantee you, they spent that whole bye week, and that because they had a bye week before the Georgia game, and then that whole week spending everything they had. They didn't look ahead at all to Tennessee. I mean, some teams will put in a few things here and there when they have a bye week. Just for teams later in the season, excuse me. But I think this week sets up perfect for Tennessee. On the schedule, I think we're just playing better ball than them right now. I mean, yes, they played Georgia close, but I just think we're playing top-notch ball right now.
You know what, though? They played Georgia close last year, too. And guess what?
Exactly.
Josh Heupel went out and put 60 on them. And that's something we're going to talk about in just a little bit. But, Dauber, what are your thoughts on having something to play for? And Coach Rice brings up a good point. Kind of plays into our favor. Like, if Ole Miss and Georgia was 3:30 and Tennessee was a night game, it's kind of like if Georgia beats Ole Miss, it's like, well, it's over, it's done. But now, I mean, it plays into our favor being a 3:30 kick.
Absolutely. And here's the quick and easy answer for what's the motivation. You don't like listen, what happened in September down in Gainesville took stuff out of our hands. It puts it in other people's. You don't want to be relying on other teams to get you into the back door into the SEC championship. You want to take care of your own business and you get there yourself. So that's a slim to none chance. I mean, I'm not even looking at that. Right now, you're looking at 7-2 teams, and the motivation for this is the winner is more than likely going to be providing they finish up and handle the business the rest of the way out. And that's if Tennessee beats Missouri, loses to Georgia, they can still get a New Year's Six bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And if Missouri beats Tennessee Saturday, Missouri's probably got the leg up on the New Year's Six bowl for that additional SEC slot that doesn't go to the title game or whatever. However it is they work that now. And, I mean, it's an ever-changing thing. But, I mean, that right there is what these guys are playing for. I know at the beginning of the season it was, business approach. We want to win the East. We want to go to Atlanta and all that. And it is still out there. But at the end of the day, you're talking about a New Year's Six bowl, and that's big time, considering where this program has been in the not so distant past.
Yeah, but and I agree. But what do you think? I mean, we've seen it. Players are opting out if they're not in the SEC title game, if they're not, have a chance at the playoffs. Yes, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, me personally, New Year's Six bowl is that's a step in the right direction for Tennessee. But having that chip on the shoulder for having the chance. Depends on what happens in that Ole Miss Georgia game. That needs to be the motivation itself. I mean,
it is.
You take control of what you could control.
Right.
You go out and whoop Missouri's.
Ass
and handle business. Yeah, and
we get a couple of not
and handle business. Then, hey, if they beat them, then we go and we whoop the dog's ass next week. So that's just what we got to do.
Yeah.
X, do you believe that? Do you believe that if Tennessee, let's say this, let's lay out the perfect scenario. Tennessee beats Missouri on Saturday, and then old Lane Kiffin finally pays us back for what he did years and years ago, and they beat Georgia. And the SEC East Championship game, I just dubbed it right here. The SEC East Championship is on the line in Neyland Stadium. It's going to be the most hostile environment ever. Is there any way possible that Georgia beats Tennessee?
Oh, man, if I'm going to put my life savings on it, I mean.
I didn't say that, X. I said give me some fired up motivational coach speak.
All right, coach speak. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Hell yeah.
Let's go.
Listen. Because, look, we got to keep in mind, too, that, listen, ever since that Josh Heupel has came to Tennessee, and think about it, we are 14-0 in Neyland Stadium. We have not lost at home. So that plays a major key factor into this. And then plus two, if you do go and you beat Missouri, which I'm pretty sure that the Vols will, then yeah, you come back home and boy, you get ready for them dogs coming in. You basically want to play Georgia just like how you played Alabama last year. You want to give it everything you got. Basically, which of course need to tell Spencer Rattler, that was our Super Bowl. But no, make this game, the Georgia game, a Super Bowl. But for right now, I know you got to focus on Missouri. But, yeah, no, that's the perfect scenario right there. Just you take care of business in Missouri. You got to get ready for that Super Bowl for those dogs.
Let me hit some Super Chats real quick. Vol fan in the Air Force for 5. Appreciate that, brother. Says, Dorfy, hoping we show up for 4 quarters Saturday. Go Vols. I've been talking a lot about, and that's going to be the next topic, 8 wins versus 9 wins. Are you satisfied? Do you have a bad taste in your mouth? What does that mean to you? And, something that Kaner pointed out in Locked On Vols is going to be posted on Friday. He's like, man, you're 2 quarters away from being undefeated. You're the second quarter against Florida and the third quarter against Bama from being undefeated with everything to play for. Alabama, Alabama's good, right? They're a good football team. Nick Saban, I think, is the greatest college football coach of all time.
Yep.
That Florida game is the one that leaves a bad taste in my mouth. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Real Hank for 2 says Thornton has been showing up. Big game incoming. I think that's going to be a key because Missouri likes to play a lot of man-to-man. So can these wide receivers make something happen? Can they beat their guy in a one-on-one battle? Me versus you, can they win that battle, and can Joe connect? And Joe has been playing good football. Joe is getting better and better. You guys have said it. The chat has said it. Tennessee is peaking at the right time. It kind of excites me about Saturday afternoon. Timothy McGee for 5. Want us to be 10-2, but not mad at about 10-3 with a bowl win. Of course, our fans would our fans would say that is settling for mediocrity. All right, that's going to be the next conversation. Don't worry, Timothy. We're going to get into that. Real Hank for another 2. Has Carson Beck played in a place like Neyland? No. Man, I'm just to me, it's the momentum. That's why the Missouri game is so important. It's the momentum that you would carry into that Georgia game. The ambassador is here. Trey is in the house, dropping a 20 spot. That's Orange Boy. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top!
Trey for $20. Appreciate that. Very generous super chat. New Year's 6 bowl games are top tier of bowl games and late season activity outside of the playoffs. Back-to-back years, I ain't mad. We beat both Missouri and Georgia, though. Let's go to Atlanta. If you slip up and lose to Georgia, say you beat Missouri, you lose to Georgia, and you're looking at 9-3, possible New Year's 6. Players do opt out. Coach Rice is right. They do opt out. But I still think those New Year's 6 bowls, I think they're important, Dauber, for recruiting. I think they're important for momentum and for the fan base. I think they're important for the fan base.
It's definitely a litmus test, a gauge of where the program is. Considering you can look back not too far, and we went over in conference play, and that's a sad time.
Yeah, I remember the times we were praying for bowl games. I remember
so,
that.
You think back-to-back years, New Year's 6 bowls. That's aside from getting into the playoff, that is kind of the pinnacle. That's where your best teams are going. And then you look ahead to the future when talk about the playoff expanding. So that's right where you want to be, and I think that is you can kind of gauge where this program is. We talked about it last week. The graphic, the last 15 years through 8 games, just eye-popping numbers, and shows you the turnaround that Coach Heupel and this staff has brought about with this program. I want to touch on one thing. We talked about Missouri playing Georgia close. That's all relative, because Missouri also played MTSU close, and Missouri also played Memphis close. You had a 4-point win over MTSU, and you had a 7-point win over Memphis. So it's all relative. If this Tennessee team, and Coach Rice, he hit it earlier, the way that they've been playing, you've improved week to week. You've had a couple slip-ups defensively. Didn't look great against Kentucky, but you were trying to kind of find your footing, especially in the secondary without Haddon and some other things. But this offense, I think, is really starting to click. The run game. And I think that is going to be the key to going to Columbia and coming out with a victory. And that's going to be the key to playing Georgia tight is this run game. I can't say enough for this stable of running backs and what they've done and how they're coming on at this point in the season. And to have 3 guys that are the caliber that they are, that can come in at any time. And I don't think there's a drop-off. That's a thing that is so impressive.
But you know what though, the running game, like, it's every freaking week we hear the same story. Well, you're going against the best run defense in the SEC. Yeah. Every freaking week, whether it's Texas A&M, it's Kentucky, it's Alabama. Every week it's the best run defense in the SEC. And then on the flip side of that, you're going against the best running back in the conference. They're leading the conference in run. And we saw it with Kentucky. Guess what? Shut them down. And now they're talking about guess what? You know why Cody Schrader is leading the conference in rushing? Because we shut down Kentucky's running game. But the beautiful thing about it is, look, right now Tennessee, first in the SEC in run defense, first in the SEC in run offense. The beautiful thing is, what Dauber hit on is the 3-headed monster, because Cody Schrader's a stud, and I love his story. Talked about it Monday morning on the morning stream. If you guys don't know who Cody Schrader is, played 4 years of Division II football at Truman State. And because of a random cocktail party conversation, Eli Drinkwitz gave him an opportunity to walk on at Missouri. The following year, he led their football team in rushing yards. Right now, he's leading the SEC in rushing yards. I love stories like that. It's a great story, but guess what? Our running backs, all 3 of them are better than Cody Schrader. And that's why we saw at the end of the Kentucky game, when you needed something, you needed to chew up that clock, you needed to get in the end zone, Dylan Sampson had fresh legs. Yep. And he was ready to go, and that's the beautiful thing. We're going to wear Missouri down. That is a huge key for me. Yep. We're going to wear them down, and in that fourth quarter, you're going to be able to take over because of that 3-headed monster. Man, I was about to pitch it to Coach Rice. I don't even remember what we were talking about, and I just got completely lost.
No, I mean, and just to bounce off of what Dauber and you're saying, we're playing complementary football. I mean, that's the key. We're balanced. we're playing, especially the last couple weeks. You know, people say we played bad defense against Kentucky. We only gave up 27 points. You know, and Essie, if you tell us that last year
on the road,
that's a blow. Yeah, on the road, that's an automatic dub. Well, our offense is kicking into gear this point of the season. Joe Milton is playing his best ball. Never thought I'd say that about first part of the year. He's playing great ball. We're running the ball. Our O-line is We're healthy. We may be getting a linebacker. I don't know. That's still up in the air. We may be getting a linebacker back. Other than Kamal Haddon, our defense is healthy. Let's lock our helmets into place. Let's go play some football and show the country that Tennessee Vols football ain't for the lay down for nobody. And we're going to go win us a couple games, and we're going to go show everybody that Tennessee football is – well, not only are we back, we're a perennial power.
Yeah,
hey,
and
X,
the key thing –
that's how you fire somebody up, X.
Yeah. Did you see how that worked? Dauber mentioned the run game. I had a come to Jesus meeting, and then Coach Rice is like, "Get out the pulpit. I'm about to preach. Come on, X. We got to get them fired up on a Wednesday." None of this logical think.
Well, what I was gonna say off of Coach is that go back to Kentucky. Is that yes, like you going down to Kentucky and you beating them, that should prove to yourself as this whole team needs to be like, okay, yeah, we can go to Missouri, we can take care of them. Yeah, our run games is going to make a big difference. So, because now going back to Florida and Bama, we have no idea what happened. I don't know. Like
Cooper Mays happened in Florida game.
Exactly.
That was the difference in that one.
Yep, that one. Now Bama, I can't tell you. I can't tell you on that. But
I can. They have stripes on their shirts, but I'm not allowed to say that.
You didn't say that, Boogie.
Well, I said, and the thing of it is, are we going to get that home cooking when Georgia comes in town?
No, absolutely not.
No.
They're going to be protecting that college football playoff spot.
SEC, SEC playoff spot. That's all they care about.
Yep. So like I said, when that time comes, we'll talk about it. But for right now, you going to Kentucky and you making a statement there saying that, hey, we're here in your hometown. We're your daddy. We beat you. You got to do the same going down to Missouri.
And we won different than the way we won all the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's the key. That goes back to what you said, though, complementary football.
Yep.
Like they beat Texas A&M with special teams and defense. They beat Kentucky because the offense showed up at the right time. Like they struggled in the red zone, but when you needed to score – Dylan Sampson came in there and punched it in from 11, 12 yards, whatever it was. And then when you needed to run the clock, Dylan Sampson showed up. Like, and you mentioned Joe Milton. Joe Milton's playing the best football. Like, you look at his numbers the last few games since halftime. Since halftime at Texas A&M, something changed with Joe Milton. I have my conspiracy theories. Somebody called him a certain word in the locker room when the way he was running the football. They called him a certain word. He didn't like it. And he said, "Oh, well, I will show you." And he has been seeking contact ever since then. And maybe, I say that jokingly, that somebody called him a taco. That's what we'll say they called him. They called him a taco.
Yeah, taco.
So, like the Texas A&M DB was jawing. And Joe Milton was like, "I'm going to truck this fool." And he did. And then it was like, Joe Milton started playing good football. And then it becomes a narrative. Joe has to be hit before he can play. And that's what they're doing every week is they are getting him hit.
That's all they talked about.
It is. Like Joey Halsey's talked about it. Joe Milton's talked about it. It's whatever it is, man. You ever been in a fist fight before? You take that first one to the jaw, it's like, all right, I'm in a fight. Let's go.
Now.
Yeah, it's
on.
Now. All you got to do is get hit once, and now we're ready to fight. And whatever it is about Joe. Let me catch up on some Super Chats real quick. Man, we're 30 minutes in. I know. I don't even know why I format a show anymore. Like, why do I waste my time? The conversation is always so good. Real Hank for 2. If we go to a New Year's 6, hope Joe opts out and Nico runs it.
He won't do it.
That ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen. Joe's going to
it.
play that game because he will need it for draft status. David's been a member for 14 months. Man, I appreciate that support. And then following that up, Bobby Pilgrim just upgraded to Talkin VAWLS Faithful. Appreciate that, man. If you're not a member of the channel, you don't have a power T beside your name, what are you doing with your life? I've heard that you may be a Florida fan or a Georgia fan. Fix that. Hit the join button. Look, man, we are trying to pump out as much content as possible, and we only do that because of the members. You hit the join button, it's $1. $1. We are pushing 25,000 subscribers right now. So if everybody jumps in the boat, gives that $1 $1 a month. That's all we need. That's all we need. There will never be an ad on this show. There will never be a sponsor on this show. Fan funded. You guys hit that join button. We would appreciate it. Trey for 2 says, preach, Pastor Rice. We're having some church up in here tonight, man. And, I kind of laughed about it earlier today, recording with Kaner. It's like going into this week, I felt so confident. I kept talking about, well, who has Missouri played? They've not played anybody. They've only beat Kentucky and South Carolina. They beat Kansas State. Kansas State's not very good. And then on the flip side, it's kind of like, well, who's Tennessee beat? Like, who's Tennessee beat other than Kentucky, South Carolina? You can throw Texas A&M in there if you want to. But this seems to me like a game of two teams trying to prove themselves, right? Trying to prove themselves, try to be up there competing with Georgia. I'm laughing. The chat's going absolutely insane about it's not Tuesday, but it's Taco Tuesday, even though it's not. But let's something I wanted to talk about is the video I made today, and it kind of came up. Sometimes I put out a video and somebody takes one little thing I say and they leave a comment and then I get pissed. So then the next day I make another video based on that one comment. And that's kind of what happened. I made a recruiting video a couple of days ago and was talking about Cam Michael. And in that video, I made a comment about how important this game was coming up on Saturday. I said, because some people, not me, I said some people in this fan base will say if you go 8-4, some people are going to say that's a huge step back, that's a huge disappointment, that's a huge problem, and they're gonna nothing would surprise me. Fire Josh Heupel, fire Tim Banks, fire Joey Halsley. All this stuff is going to happen, and all I was saying is some people in this fan base are going to go down that road. I got a comment saying I can't believe you said that, and I didn't say that. I made a statement, but then I started looking at it. How would you guys feel, right? That's why Saturday is so important. You beat Missouri, you're pretty much guaranteed 9-3. You're going to beat Vanderbilt. You're guaranteed 9-3. You still got a shot at 10-2. But if you lose to Missouri, I think all of a sudden 8-4 kind of becomes where you're at. You're an 8-4 football team. And some people want to say, well, you don't remember the days when we only won 6. Oh, you can bet your sweet – Coach, I said we get 2. You can bet your sweet ass that I remember the years under Lane Kiffin, Derek Dooley, Butch Jones. I actually went back and looked at records this morning before we talked about it because Derek Dooley never won more than 6 games. Lane Kiffin won 7. Butch Jones won 9 twice, but guess what? That was with postseason. So Butch's best regular seasons, his best regular seasons were 8-4. Jeremy Pruitt won 8 after a Gator Bowl victory. So regular season, his best win total was 7. And now here we sit with Josh Heupel. Year 2 wins 10 regular season games. And now year 3, you look at 9, man. I just feel so much more.
You feel satisfied.
Yeah, that's the word. Satisfied with 9. 8, Dauber, to me is a letdown. It's a letdown. Now, in the grand scheme of things, if you told me when Josh – I'm already pissed that I pitched to Dauber because I see that stupid freaking look on his face. If you told me when Josh Heupel took over, hey, he's going to go 8-4 in year 3, I'd be like, all right, that's right where we need to be. But guess what? I'm cutting you off before you can even say it. Guess what? We were favored to beat every team on this schedule other than Alabama and Georgia. So are you okay? Are you satisfied? Are you going, job well done, boys? We lost 2 games that we were favored to win. That's the only point I'm making. I'm not ready to fire anybody, bench anybody.
I get that. But you go back to last year. You look at that. You were favored against South Carolina,
yeah.
And you go lay a big fat.
Mentioned that in my video this morning. That exact game.
So, it is tough to play SEC football. It is tough to go on the road, and I think that for our generation, Boogie. I know X is a bit younger. I don't know where Coach Rice is.
He's a little bit younger than us.
31.
Okay.
Oh, he's a lot younger than us.
I'm about to say, Coach, you're right there with me. Okay.
So we were spoiled. Not 9 wins growing up for us was that wasn't good enough. We were spoiled by it was commonplace to win 9 games, 9 plus. That's just where Tennessee football was. November was clean sweep. You'd run through Georgia, Kentucky, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, and just get ready for that was bowl prep. And things changed. We did the Follow the Vols series, and we talked about all of that. And just this program reached the depths, and you threw out Kiffin, Dooley, Jones. You didn't really mention Pruitt there, Boogie, and Pruitt was man.
God awful.
I mentioned Pruitt. I mentioned Pruitt because he got to 8 wins, but it took him a bowl win to get there.
Yeah, but then what did he do?
Oh, I know. Look, I understand. We have been through the gutters, but I want to play this because I think this is worth playing. Because I play the clip all the time. I played it at the beginning of the show for a reason. You don't come to Tennessee to win 7 games. You come to win championships, SEC championships, national championships. Played this in the video this morning, but I'm going to play it again because I think it's worth listening to again. They asked Coach Garner what his thoughts were, 3 years into this thing, where you were. Look, I get it. I understand. Boys, I am excited. Like, 8 wins is way better than freaking fighting for a bowl game, but it's the fact of where we're at. It's the fact of dropping 2 games that you were favored to win. And again, we're getting ahead of ourselves because you still got to play Missouri, and we're already talking about that like it's a loss, but it's for the sake of the conversation. But I love this from Coach G. Listen to this.
Well, obviously, I think that's compliments to the young men in the program that have bought into what we've been preaching. We're blessed, to have some really good young men. I think guys have been beaten down. It's been a long time since Tennessee have been back to the elite status that Tennessee's used to. So obviously for those guys that started out with us that first year, for us to win 7 games.
First of all, I love that right out of the gate. Who does he praise? Who do they blame when things go wrong, and who do they praise when things go right? I love that he praises his players and talks about going back to that elite level of Tennessee football. That's the thing, Dobby. You said we're spoiled. Yeah, we were, but that's what we should strive for. We shouldn't be sitting here going, 8 wins. Pat on the back. Good job, boys. Good job. 8 wins. That's look. Like I said, I'm not ready to fire anybody.
Don't think that I'm settling for mediocrity and I'm like, 8-4 is good considering where we were. No, there's an expectation for Tennessee football, and we hadn't been there. I think to judge this coaching staff on this year in year 3 after overachieving for 2 years, and the turnaround has been expedited by NIL and the transfer portal and all of that. The timetable was sped up, but I don't think you can say, oh, well, this coaching staff's a failure and all of that if it is 8 wins. Because
I'm not saying they're a failure. I'm saying I ain't going to be sitting here satisfied with that.
No, and I'm not either. I'm not satisfied.
I would be satisfied with 9-3.
Yeah.
The Florida game is still going to leave a sour taste in my mouth, but satisfied with 9-3
because you want to continue after from last season. I mean, you went 11-2. I mean, and to come into this year, I want to be at least around 9-10 wins to continue that momentum. Also for recruiting purposes as well. So yeah, if we're going 8-4, I'm a little sour.
We knew we were going to take a step back, right? We knew that. We knew that. We lost a lot of talent, but there's a difference between being happy and being satisfied. Go ahead, Coach.
And I think going off of what y'all are saying, 9-3 to me that was my prediction at the beginning of the year. I think I think that was several of people of the Tennessee fan base. Mm-hmm. The thing is, it's where you took those losses and who you took that loss to, and what. Like, I don't even want to say lost to Missouri because it's just.
I know it's just for the sake. It's the argument that I got into is why we're having this conversation.
Yeah, but you lose to Florida, a team that you're supposed to beat. You're more talented than. You have a better coach. You're in a better place than, like I said, in the Missouri. Yes, they had their times when they first came into the SEC. You're freaking Tennessee. They're freaking Missouri. You go beat Missouri every day, every night. That's just what Tennessee fans expect. They're not in the same scale we are. That's just not what Missouri is. And I know some people may say, well, they got a good team this year. That's them one in every 20 years. Tennessee expects to be great every freaking year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's just my scale.
That's a great point, Coach Rice. And Boogie, I know you were 9-3. I was 9-3, and I think you were too, X.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 9-3.
And said, that's kind of where I expected us. And I said our ceiling, I think, is 10-2. Mm-hmm. But dropping that game in Gainesville, that was that I had that as a W. And now that on my board, that puts us chasing.
That puts you that burn up your toss up. For me, it was: do you lose to Florida? Do you lose to Texas A&M? Do you lose to Kentucky? Do you lose to Missouri? That burn up your wild card. That burn up your gimme. Right?
I had Kentucky and A&M as the toss up game.
I had Florida in there too. I thought, and the frustrating thing is Tennessee was favored by a touchdown.
Yeah.
And went down there and laid an egg. Let's hear the rest of this from Coach Garner. He's talking about Tennessee being elite.
Games, I thought that was great, and then turn around and back it up with last year, just seeing the improvement. I think they're taking more pride into getting the program back to where it belongs, and then these kids have bought into it. They're doing the little things. Leadership's starting to show up in the locker room, which I think anytime in this league that you have a good program, it needs to be peer led. Obviously, we don't mind leading as coaches, but we have to be honest with ourselves. For it to be really effective, we need the kids to buy into it.
I love Coach Garner.
We need the kids to hold each other accountable, and I think our guys have done a much better job of doing that. And not having to start over, day one every day. That we're able to move the needle and pick up where we left off. And still, guys, we got a long ways to go. I mean, we all know that. We got to continue to improve in all facets of our game, and we can't ever become satisfied. Not like that we did anything to be satisfied with.
Boom.
That
statement.
Word,
I love that. Like not like we've done anything to be satisfied with. You won 11 games last year. Like I think all four of us were satisfied with last year. Yeah, South Carolina left a sour taste in your mouth, but we knew where Tennessee was and how far they came in just 2 seasons. We were all satisfied. I think everybody in this fan base was satisfied. But you know who wasn't? Coach Garner, Coach Heibel. They weren't, because they want to win championships. That was probably when I watched that and I was putting my video together for this morning, I'm like, that's it. We've not done anything to be satisfied with yet.
If that don't get you fired, I'm telling you, we have the best D-line coach. If there's no outside linebacker / edge guy / inside D lineman that should not want to come, they should want to come play for him.
Oh, yeah.
He's gonna get the best out of you. He's gonna get the best out of you. He's gonna develop you, and he's gonna make you a better man. That's the thing that's hidden there. He is such a good coach. Such a good coach.
Christopher Welch just threw out a comment during the tail end of that video. No, not that one. Said in 2021 and 2022, we all said as long as we can be competitive, and now it's can we get to 10 wins? That's what I'm kind of talking about. It was last year, the year before. We just want to be competitive. We want to go out and play well against the Georgias, the Floridas, the Alabamas. And now we've gotten to the point where this program, we don't chalk it up as a loss when it's on the schedule. We're going to go down to Tuscaloosa and we're going to go toe to toe with Alabama because we have closed the gap and our players and our coaches are good enough to beat anybody in the country when we play our best. And that's the point I was making. Not that 8-4 is we'll settle for that. And let's throw ourselves a party and everybody gets a trophy and a ribbon. No, heck no. We want to play for championships. We want to play for titles. We want to be in contention and be relevant. And I think that's, what Coach Garner, that's perfect. What he was saying right there.
Well, see, winning changes everything. Expectations, it changes it. Like when you You go out your first year, but dealing with what we were dealing with, going 7-5, competing, playing good offensive football. Won't talk about the defense, and then last year doing what we did, that changes all expectations.
What changes?
It
culture.
changes everything, and it's the culture that Heupel's established. It's the mindset. Once we did what we did last year, you could throw out when we first started this, what we thought year 3 would look like. You could throw it out.
100%. That's the statement that defines this whole conversation. I don't care what I thought 2.5 years ago. That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. What I'm talking about is the here and now. When you're favored by a touchdown to go on the road and beat Florida, and you lay an egg. Don't be satisfied with that. Don't sit here and tell me that you're happy with that. And then we're already, like, this conversation's so weird because we're acting like Tennessee has already lost to Missouri. They've not even played the game. You're favored to go on. I know. It's all because of this. The last 20 minutes of this show is because of one comment on one video. And it's created my content for the last 2 days. But that's it, man. Like, you go lose to Missouri when you're favored to win. I'm not settling for that. No. We're better than Missouri. We're better than Florida. So don't sit here and tell me that it's okay. Don't tell me that it's okay. I'm dying. The chat is hilarious right now. They're all over the place. And it's like the comment that you pointed out, Dauber, it doesn't matter. I don't care what I thought 2.5 years ago. Like I said, if you told me that in year 3 we were going to win 8 games, I would have said, sign me up. But if you told me we were going to win 11 games in year 2, I would have said, you're freaking delusional. Right? Like that was not the expectation. But that tells you that's why I'm not sitting here saying, oh, Josh Heupel's not the guy. Josh Heupel's, we got to get rid of him. We got to move on. No, Josh Heupel is the guy. That's why expectations change and shift.
Because think about it. I mean, going back to, like I said, with Pruitt, when Pruitt was head coach here, none of us cared to watch Tennessee football. I mean, after, what I'm saying, his first few years, he got us that 6 win in the bowl game, whatever. But then after that, close to him being out the door, nobody cared. I mean, literally, like, I remember those days where, like I said, it was Saturday, like, nobody wasn't wearing, the power tee. Nobody just cared. But now, like I said, we care again because we're winning again. And like I said, we're back. Baby, we're back.
Now we care. We may have just drank a few more beers than what we normally would on a good win.
Yeah, but no, I mean, like, there were some games, man, that I was just like, oh, South Carolina, oh, well, that's an L. Oh, Missouri, oh, Missouri, oh, well, that's an L. I mean, I was going to keep on moving. I mean, like, I had like some kind of glimmer of hope of like, let's go out and win. But with the coaching staff that we had back then, man, like, it just was not possible, man. It wasn't possible.
Let me catch up on Super Chats real quick. Real Hank for 2 says we better beat Vandy. That's going to be my first game. Hank, that's a win. We're going to go beat up our little stepbrother. Is that what Vanderbilt is? I mean, they're irrelevant. Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
Our midget little brother.
Yeah. Little person, I think they say. Man, getting me canceled. Timothy McGee for 5. I think 8-4 is better than mediocrity. How old are you, Dauber? I remember Majors coaching. Me and Dauber are 42, man. We grew up in the perfect time, right? We grew up in the Fulmer era when Tennessee, like, winning 9 and 10 games was expected. It was normal. 8-4 is better than mediocrity, but it's not the expectation. It's not the standard at Tennessee. Zachary for $10. Appreciate that, man. That ain't cheap. Missouri's the same team as last year, I'm assuming. They barely lost to Georgia last year. We beat them 66-24. I'm sorry, but there is no reason or excuse we shouldn't do the same this year. 70. Holy.
Hey.
Preach. Bro.
Zachary, what you sipping on, fam?
Are you drinking bleach? Did you drink bleach? Like 70-24? Oh, my gosh. I love it, Zachary.
He's been listening to me. He's been listening to me.
Look,
I think he heard you preach, and he's like, here's $10. I've lost my mind.
Zachary,
he's going to be handling
this
snakes.
Is the homecoming game.
Yeah, really. You're going to beat Missouri worse than you beat UConn. The ambassador, appreciate it. Trey, $5 super chat. I agree. Let's all cheer, but we have new expectations because we've had different results. Let's be great. Donovan is here. What's up, brother? $5 super chat. What's up, guys? So glad the GOAT got to play Saturday. Nico. 10-2. I can't wait to play Alabama again. Get your cleats in the ground. Go Vols. Man, we've not even is this a record? Oh, it's because Coach Jay isn't here. We're 50 minutes in and haven't talked about Nico, and it's all because Coach Jay isn't here. Wayne drops a 20 spot. That's an Orange Boy. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top!
Wayne says, take care of Mizzou to not take a step back in recruiting. Recruiting wins on Saturday. Go Vols. You know, they're going to have some big-time recruits in the house for the Georgia game, and I don't think that one singular game is going to impact a recruit one way or the other, right? But when you start going 8-4, 7-5, 6-6, that's when recruiting does get impacted. So Wayne brings up a good point there. The ambassador drops another 5. Castle's presser says it all about the future with Nico. We're going to talk about Nico. Should I pull that up? Should I pull that up? I'm going to pull that up because if you haven't heard it, I want don't spoil it.
Awesome.
I want to play it because it's a freaking awesome clip. So we'll get through these super chats and then I'll pull that up. Tom for 5 says I have high expectations because the coaches and players do. They get disappointed when they don't perform, so I know they are increasingly focused. Thank you, Tom, for the super chat. Timothy McGee for another 2. Hey, I am 43. I remember most of the majors games. Thank you, Timothy, for the super chat. Dauber, you're with me. You're a former guy, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, I definitely remember majors as well, though. But yeah, Fulmer was the coach that we kind of at least I started paying attention to football. Kind of around the age of my son right now. Sit with my dad, my grandfather, aunts and uncles. Family, friends, watch games. I'd ask questions. Lots of good, happy memories of that. And then we kind of hit a dark period.
And my generation, my generations went through the dark times of Tennessee football. Like I said, do I have to bring up Georgia State and BYU?
No, you don't. You absolutely don't.
Okay.
And if you do, I think Boogie's got a button that he can use, and we'll just carry on the rest of the show with 3 people.
I'm not even listening because I'm trying to get this clip ready for McAllen Castles, but I can kick X off if I need to.
Yeah.
I mean, what I'm just saying is that look, y'all experienced the glory days of the Power T, former owned Alabama and Tennessee.
I mean, listen, I remember, vaguely, just small little glimpses. The miracle at South Bend, the 85 Sugar Vols right here, a shirt that was my dad's that I've got framed right here. Going down and beating Miami in a game that nobody gave Tennessee a chance. It's that's we've talked about it time and time again. That's what makes college football special, and that's what we're talking about when we have that. Tennessee should be at this level. We've not been there. We are, I think we are getting right back near that level. I think this coaching staff is doing a hell of a job. And the turnaround that they've made for this program, because frankly, it got to depths that, JP, Vols JP, he as big of fans as we all are, he was kind of in the same boat. It was apathetic. We all became apathetic at the state of Tennessee football where it was. And that's my whole point about it's hard. We're in year 3, and I think that is my big thing. 8-4, it is a step back from where you've been because you've moved that needle. And we talked about it last year when this team kept winning. It was, we'll just slide it on down again. We'll slide it on down again. And they kept, honestly, overachieving. And that's my point. Is it really, are you backsliding when you overachieved previously? When you the turnaround was sped up and you played beyond your potential. And I think you are starting to catch up in recruiting. You are starting to gain ground. We
For
talked
me,
about
nine wins isn't backsliding. 8 wins is. Because of the way they played out. Everything is circumstantial, right? Like, if you lost to Alabama and Georgia, like, that's fine. But Florida? We're all in agreement. Tennessee's better than Florida,
because,
right?
because it pissed me off that Arkansas beat Florida. It's like the teams that beat Florida, we should have been one of them because I'm sorry, Florida is just
no, Florida's a bad team.
good.
But you're also talking about week 3. Week 3 with Joe Milton struggled.
No Cooper Mace, right? But
that's Joe Milton struggled against Austin Peay. Joe Milton struggled in week 2 against Austin Peay. This offense was not clicking. And then you go on the road to Gainesville. And it was just the way the schedule was set up. There's no excuses. We went down there, favored, got our butts whipped in the first half. We played a good second half, but it wasn't good enough. And that it is disappointing when you look at the schedule as a whole and where that loss came from because it put us chasing.
I'm afraid you're going to look back at this season and Florida's going to be our South Carolina.
Yeah,
it's going to be like, man, it could have been a special year. But remember that Florida game? Let me hit the super chat from Timothy.
Great point.
Did you hear that the conspiracy theory is that Fulmer stabbed Johnny Majors in the back? Well, he did. That's not. There's no conspiracy. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah,
that is exactly what happened, Timothy. All right, I've got the clip. We'll talk a little Nico, and then we're going to jump back into Missouri. Like we didn't even talk about Connecticut. We didn't do a post game show, and we didn't even talk about Connecticut tonight. We talked about it. We talked about it on the fan call in show Sunday night. We talked about it a little bit Monday morning. So
it was an ass whooping. So
it was. And look, the beautiful thing is, though, they took care of business. You played so many young guys. The Real Hank's been a member for 7 months, says, had a good message typed in bed with my year. What in the? Had a good message typed. Okay.
Year and 4 months. Yeah.
Let's say 16-month-old. All of a sudden, there's just poop everywhere. I'll spare details, but it was bad. Do y'all ever think about whether or not you should type something on YouTube and send it to the masses? There's 320 people watching live, Hank, and we're talking about baby crap.
Baby poop.
Trey for 2 says, preach, Pastor Dauber. We all about to be on a rocket ship. All right, I was about to sing a stupid song.
Play the clip.
Show.
Play the clip.
Let me get back to McAllen Castles.
Play the clip.
Bless America. Let's listen to McAllen Castles. Although the audio on this is absolute garbage, it's way worse than the regular ones. But this is McAllen Castles asked about Nico. You know, we're going to talk about Nico for a few minutes, and we're going to make our predictions. But one of the coolest things was seeing how excited that football team got. Right. Like, Joe Milton is the leader of this football team. I think that's clear. I think you know that. I think you see that. I don't think anybody wants Joe benched, but these players love them some Nico. Gerald Mincey was on the bench. He was 20 yards out on the field trying to celebrate with Nico when he threw the touchdown. Joe Milton, first guy to greet him from the bench. I love it. This football team loves them some Nico. Let's hear what McAllen Castles had to say about Nico.
Just for him to go out there and kill it the way he did was awesome to see. Especially, I practice get most of my reps with him every day, so it kind of just felt second nature. And he was spinning the ball out there, and for me to catch it was a big deal. I kept the gloves. I have him sign it today, so those will probably be hanging up in my house after his career here. So pretty cool.
Let's just take that. Right, like one of the coolest things is sometimes we all eat we eat our own. We all argue, we all yell, we all fuss. Whether it's Harrison Bailey, Hendon Hooker, Joe Milton, we argue all the time. I've not seen one person in the media in this fan base say, Nico didn't impress me. Everybody's going, holy smokes, we got ourselves a dog. We've got an alpha at that quarterback position for the future. And to hear McAllen Castles, like, I said this on the day after video, and I got roasted from one idiot. One idiot called me little bruh, and I said, "Well, you called me little bruh. Are you 12? Like what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? You called me little bruh?" And then he came back on the next video and called me that again. Little weird, little bruh. But I looked at my daughter and I said, "Do you understand? You just saw history. Like, you just saw history. Nico is going to be a Tennessee legend. He is." No ifs, ands, or buts. He's going to be a Tennessee legend. Will he go down as the greatest quarterback in Tennessee history? Peyton Manning might have an argument for that. he's going to be something special. And I think we all saw that on Saturday. And if you're questioning that and you're saying, Lil Bruh doesn't know what he's talking about, McAllen Castles just said, I got Nico to sign my gloves, and they're going to be hanging in my house because I know how special he is. Dauber, you
was very giddy and fanboyed out.
Yeah, both of these dudes, I think I don't remember, Coach Rice, I think you missed the fan calling show. Regardless,
No,
I know X was on here, so we'll get you in. But Dauber, what were your thoughts seeing Nico for really the first time? Like, he's been in a couple of games, but he's not really had an opportunity.
We talked about he had 5 passes before last Saturday. I thought he looked good, and I'm excited for the future. Man, he's got just skills that it's impressive and exciting to be able to have that sort of one, athletic ability, but he seems to be smart, and you put that type of talent coupled with Coach Heupel's scheming and game planning and offensive creativeness, man, it could be something really special. I mean, you're talking about an offense that for 2 years put up video game numbers with Hendon Hooker, who, no slight to him, but I don't think his athletic ability even approaches the level of Nico's. Now, Hooker was accurate as I'll get out. That's the thing that made a little bit elusive, could do some stuff with his legs. But I think Nico is just, the word generational gets thrown around with guys like that. And I think it truly is, when it's his time, it is going to be a generational and special time. But I'm not wishing away this season. I'm still invested in this team, in Joe Milton, this coaching staff, because of all the things we talked about, because of the change in culture, the trajectory of the program, and where this team is going and how they're playing.
Something that's funny to me is all these guys in the media. All right, we got to address this. This is like the 17th person that's asked. Dauber, where did you get that?
Actually from Vol Shop. They've got them right now. It's a reproduction of the old logo athletic shark tooth hats. Mitchell and Ness does them now. They've got this one. They've got the cream one with the orange shark tooth as well. They were there when I was in the bookstore for the South Carolina game. I don't know if they're still there.
It'd be amazing if everybody said, "Hey, Dauber, where did you get that shirt?" I mean, you could go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS, and you could get that exact shirt that Dauber's wearing. But if you don't want it, if you want a Talkin VAWLS letters shirt, you could also get that at bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. You got Colt member shirts, FUGA, Gator Hater, Buck Fama, whatever you want. It's at bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. The link is also in the description below. We appreciate any and all support. Also, shout out to the members of the channel. You guys pay the light bill around here. If you don't have a Power T beside your name, if you're asking yourself, I keep leaving clever, funny, great comments, and Boogie's not putting them on the screen. He hates me. I try to highlight member comments during the live streams as a reward because, look, you can give $1 a month. That's it, just $1 a month. You can hit that join button down below. You get custom Talkin VAWLS emojis, a Power T beside your name, all kinds of fun perks and benefits. You can do that by hitting that join button down below. Look, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I've said it multiple times over the last couple of days. I think that Nico looks better as far as pocket presence, pocket awareness, escapability. I think he looks better than Josh Dobbs. I think he looks better than Hendon Hooker. And he constantly keeps his eyes down the field. He's not looking to run. He's looking to make plays. But, Coach, you weren't on the fan call-in show with me and X when we kind of talked a little bit about Nico. What were your thoughts on Saturday?
Well, first thought is, guys, we're not going to – regular season, we won't lose. We will have 10 or more wins in the regular season every year. Nico is our quarterback. It's point blank. He's that good. He's going to lead us to things that we have not, games that we have not seen in a while. And I mean, yes, we got to the edge of it last year, but I'm saying on a consistent 3 to 4 year timeline where we are going to be in the, college playoffs and compete for national championships. That dude, as a freshman, has things that is just not it's not normal for an 18-year-old to have. The pocket awareness, the being able to get out of the pocket, escape, rush, keep his eyes downfield, and still deliver an accurate pass. The timing of his passes, that's another thing. You just do not see that in freshmen. I mean, the last one I seen that can make a play like that, and this is, just the number 1 draft pick, Bryce Young. I've seen comparisons to how elusive and how athletic he is in the pocket and how he delivers the ball is a Bryce Young comparison. I know that's who we as Tennessee Vols fans don't like to compare players to, but he was a great player.
Same
and
coaching tree,
I
right?
think, same
coach.
coaching tree. And I think he's going to take us to places that as Vol fans we've dreamed about. And I know that's a lot to talk about a player that we've seen small sample size of. Guys, he's doing stuff that you just do not see a freshman do. And he's only going to get better.
But that's the thing is it's like yeah, we've only seen a small sample size, right? This is the first time, like, he got a couple of games, but he didn't really get an opportunity. He got 2 drives on Saturday and looked good. And I see you. I'll put this comment on the screen as well. That's right, go Vols. Seen him make a couple of bad throws and miss wide open guys. Guess what? He's a true freshman. He is a true freshman. We've seen him play 7-on-7. We've seen him play high school ball. We've seen him, in the orange and white game. He is a true freshman, and I don't know how you could see Nico and say, I don't think he's got it. I think everybody sees that he's got it. And to pat ourselves on the back, and by ourselves, I just mean this community, like one of the things that I've seen everybody talking about is coaching. Nico has real deal coaching. Like, he's not just out there playing backyard football, although the little fake QB draw, I've seen a lot of people speculating that was backyard football, that he improvised that.
Was called.
I thought it was called too, but
it was called.
There's a lot of speculation about what that play call actually was. But regardless, they're talking about his development and how he knows how to play the quarterback position. And guess what? We have a dude that comes on this channel all the time. And I'm not blowing smoke up Coach J's butt. I love me some Coach J. He works hard. He's on the channel all the time. He's been telling us for a year now that Coach P knows how to coach, and he's telling us that Nico's the real deal. So you can read scouting reports, you can read what the experts say, you can read what the insiders say, or you can read what the guy's freaking head coach at high school said. And Coach J has tweeted out the video clips where Coach P, guess what? He said he's better than Bryce. Like, spoiler alert, Coach J won't say it on air. I'll freaking say it. Coach P has said that Nico is hands down better than Bryce Young. So you're talking about a Heisman Trophy winner? You're talking about a first-round draft pick? Guess what? We got one sitting on the bench ready to go, and we're seeing glimpses.
The only thing that gives me pause and a little bit of hesitation is what's the status and how does that offensive line look next year?
Yeah,
but didn't Saturday encourage you though? Because I think he can mask the inefficiencies of the offensive line.
And that's my next statement was going to be, but we've seen a quarterback who had Swiss cheese for an offensive line and athletic ability and God-given talent that made plays and extended the tenure of a Tennessee football coach in Josh Dobbs.
Yep.
And he made things happen, and you know, we're seeing it. You saw it last week in Minnesota. You know, coming into the program, hadn't been there a full week, and coming in and doing what he did. So, and that's what my point with Nico. I think you've got a high football IQ, generational talent and athletic ability. It's going to be something to see, and I'm excited for it.
Well, and then Dauber too. This is two things that's in consideration too. for the offensive line. One, most of the guys might be able to come back. They still probably have a COVID year. I mean, I don't know so who does and who doesn't, but that's wait to be announced. And then number two, you got to trust this coaching staff to go on the recruiting trail that they're going to bring in.
They've got to hit the
guys. Oh yeah, and they will. They will. So that's the two things that's going to be concerning for next year, to build that wall around Nico to perform that we all believe who he is, to perform well for us.
Negaval says you can't mask a bad offensive line for an entire season. This guy says otherwise.
And you have to not lose the game before you can ever win the game.
One guy, one elusive quarterback, saved that dude's job for years. Like, it is what it is. That offensive line was garbage. And Josh Dobbs saved Butch Jones's job at Tennessee. Let me catch up on Super Chats. We got some big ones here. Zachary drops a 20 spot. That's an Orange Boy. If I can find the clip, we'll play the clip. I'll scroll up. Where is the clip? There it is.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Zachary confirms he is not drinking bleach. He says sober as ever, but I don't know if you guys noticed, but in Josh's first game against Missouri, we won 62-24. Then last year, 66-24. So why not 70-24? RD is better, and the run game is better than both of those games. We'll come back to that point, Zachary, when we go into our predictions. You're all good, Coach. We'll wrap up. We'll wrap up. Backstage.
Well, I was just making sure.
Yeah, we'll be done. We'll wrap up here in just a second. Darth Vaughl for 20. That's also an Orange Boy. We'll play the clip again.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Darth Vaughl says, Boogie Down Productions, my man, 8-4, 9-3, 10-2. I'm happy with any and all, not because I'm celebrating failure, but I see the writing on the wall. We are back. Are we back, or have we arrived, Dauber?
Oh, man.
Tennessee Vols for life. Thank you, Darth Vaughl. Appreciate that $20 super chat. That's generous, man. $20 ain't cheap. Donovan for 5 says Tennessee will stop Missouri's run game. Getting off the field on third down is key. Front four needs to play well. Vols 52, Tigers 45. That's a high-scoring game. Brady Cook is good. He scares me on Saturday. Let me tell you, he scares me. Pecan for 5. Got my to wear it to work on game day when we play Georgia. Live 45 minutes from Athens now. Miss Tennessee GBO. Good to see you in the chat, Pecan. Pecan's a long-time listener. Appreciate the super chat. Timothy for 2 says, then how come he couldn't beat out Milton? Well, because he's 18 years old. He's a freshman. And I think there's some culture stuff going on there too. With Milton and Nico, we've talked a lot about it over the last 5, 6, 7, 8, 24 months. We've been talking about it. I think there's some culture things going on there. But you don't bench your quarterback when you're 7-2. And the SEC East is still up for grabs. Pan-seared ribeye for 5. Ohio State with Cardell Jones destroyed Bama with that fake quarterback draw and then throw it deep. We need more of that. Nico did it perfectly. Talking about the quarterback draw, Missouri plays a lot of man. They play a lot of man, and something you saw this past week was where you motion Jalen Wright out, and now you got an empty backfield. Now you got 5-on-5. Run that quarterback draw with Joe Milton. Run it early. Let Joe Milton get punched in the mouth early and often, and then he's going to go out and ball out on Saturday. We got to get Coach Rice out the door by 8:30, so we're going to jump into our predictions. But something I want you guys to think about and ponder on as we go into our predictions. Josh Heupel, since being at Tennessee, has absolutely owned Missouri. 66-24 last year, 62-24 in 2021. Is it something schematics-wise? Is it Josh Heupel versus Eli Drinkwitz, the big dork from Missouri? What is it? Because they've had a different defensive coordinator in 2021 to 2022. So it's very interesting that Heupel is putting up 60. Let me tell you something. They're not scoring 60 this year. That ain't happening with the new rules. But let's get into our predictions. We've not talked a whole lot about Missouri, so I'll give you guys a little grace here. You guys let's get Coach Rice in here first, just in case he needs to bounce. Just give me what you see in this matchup and then give us your official score prediction.
Okay, so I think it's going to be a game where our physicality is going to show up majorly. I just think, what Missouri had to go through last week and the way we're playing ball, the way we're running the ball, and you actually made a very good point, and that's what was going to be one of my, keys to the game. Missouri does play a lot of man. They play a lot of 2-man under, and then even sometimes they'll play some man free. So they trust their two corners, Chris Abrams Drain and Rakestraw. They trust them two guys. They're not as good at safety, but they trust their corners to leave them on the island. So what does that mean as far as bringing them in the box? Do we spread them out like we always do? Do we space them and give Joe the opportunity to, some design quarterback runs, and how well does our O-line block the guys that are in the box and run the ball down their throat? Because if you look at the last two games, we really haven't, beat them with the deep shots. I mean, there's a couple gimmick plays we hit them with Jalen Hyatt last year, but we've really, our success has been running the ball down the field and down the throat, and establishing our physicality. I understand this is a different Missouri team, but I still think our physicality outweighs any other key that Missouri could throw at us. And I just think at the end of this game, does Joe Milton does enough to end the pass game, but I think our running game is going to be the major key, and stopping, containing Brady Cook to where he doesn't run for 100 yards like he did last year. He, keep him at 30 yards and 225 through the air. I think that's an automatic. I think that's a W. And so my score prediction is, I'm going to say 38-24, Tennessee.
X, go ahead and jump in there. We'll let me and my Siamese twin over here. We'll conclude it. What do you got, X?
All right, like I said, so I think that we've all kind of summed it up in little pieces here and there. I think the game plan to go down to beat Missouri is that you got to get after Brady Cook on the defense side of the ball. You got to get after Brady Cook. Try to keep, you got to keep him into your rushing lanes. Don't let him try to escape the pocket, make plays with his feet. Try to keep him contained in the pocket. And then, they do play a lot of man. So if everybody does their assignments right and stays with their man, I feel like I said, we got them on defense because our defense has played really, really good this year. Switching to the offensive side of the ball, I feel like, Joe just, that's what we've been saying all year. Joe just got to go in and just be Joe. And actually, we all seen it. He's getting better within every single game. So, Joe just got to go out there, be Joe. And, of course, our three-headed monster Cerberus, our running backs, they're all going to eat. I feel like I said that's going to be a key point, too, is that all of them are going to get touches. All of them are going to run for over 100 yards. So, and then, of course, switching over to our wide receivers, I feel like that this is another game for Dante Thornton. I feel like this is another really big, important game for him. He's got to step up. He's got to step up in a big way. We all know Squirrel White's going to go out there and do his thing. So with all that being said, I'm going to say Tennessee's going to score 42 to Missouri's 30.
Meet a couple of super chats real quick, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Matthew Wilson for 2 says Vols by 90. Well, I'll take that.
Chase right.
Chase Tidwell's been a member for 16 months. I appreciate that. If you're not a member, what are you doing with your life? Hit that join button down below. You can become a member of the channel for $1. You got $1 in your pocket? I'm thinking about setting a goal. I'm thinking about setting a goal for memberships, and if we reach it, giving away an autographed Josh Heupel helmet. But I don't know if we can get there. I don't know if we're going to reach our goals. Dauber, do you want to go first? You want me to go first? Guys, by the way, put your predictions in the chat. I want to see your scores in the chat.
It doesn't matter, man. I've got mine written down.
I'm letting you choose.
I'll go.
Oh, you got yours written down? No, let me go first. Let me go first because you got yours written down. I don't. Mine's on a digital notepad. There's so many things, man, that go into this for me. Like I am worried about Missouri's offense. Their offense is what concerns me. Luther Burden, absolute dog. He's a first-round NFL draft pick. He's a 3-and-done type of guy. He's third in the SEC in receiving yards, got 64 catches, almost 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. He did get banged up against Georgia.
It's questionable.
And Eli Drinkwood said he was concerned. That's a lie because he's going to play on Saturday. And he, he came back into the game. He got banged up in the second quarter. He came back in the game. Again, I mentioned Cody Schrader earlier. Love the story. Great story. 4 years of Division II football and then just gets the opportunity, makes the most of it. Now he's leading the SEC in rushing. Guess what? There's one Cody Schrader. There's 3 legitimate dudes in the backfield for Tennessee. I think that plays into our favor. I am concerned about Brady Cook. The way he extends plays, he doesn't just look to run. He gets out of the pocket. He looks downfield. He's a gamer, man. He is a baller. I think the key for me on defense is Tennessee's linebacker play. They like to run a lot of outside zone. They want to run to the outside, so the linebackers are going to have to get involved in that run game, but they also got to show good discipline, man. You're probably, I would imagine, that you're going to follow what Georgia did. Aaron Beasley's going to be spying Brady Cook. I think you have to. I think you've got to commit a guy to him to stop that run game. Offensively, I think Tennessee's going to be able to run the football. You're number one in the conference in running. You're number one in stopping the run. I think that plays into Tennessee's favor. I think this game comes down to the line of scrimmage, and I think ultimately when you get to the fourth quarter, you're going to wear them down because you've got 3 really good SEC backs. There is a lot of teams that would like to have Jabari Small or Jalen Wright or Dylan Sampson on their football teams. Guess what? We got all 3. I think that plays into our advantage. I think when you get to the fourth quarter, you're going to make the plays when you need to, and I think it's going to be a close one. I think it's going to be a close football game. Tennessee wins 34-31, and we're going to have a big-time atmosphere when Georgia comes to Neyland Stadium. I hope you pick 34-31.
I didn't pick 34-31. I was kind of close there. Man, you must be in my head.
No, you just watch my show every day. When I'm on here talking with Kaner, I'm on here talking with Coach Jay. You're just here listening.
Man, this week at work, couldn't have done that. I had management review. It was a long day Tuesday, Monday prepping for that.
That's what I do too. On Tuesdays, I sit down and watch the show, and I grade you guys, and I give you.
So listen, my key is for this game is the running game, both sides of the ball. I think, like you said, you threw out the numbers. Tennessee is their rushing offense is just something to take home to mama. I think. If we run for 200 plus, we get 225. You can chalk this up as a W all day long. And then the rush defense, I think that's going to be key to stopping Missouri, slowing them down. You hit on some injury reports. I was going to talk about Drinkwitz. He talked about yesterday. They've got a defensive lineman that's questionable, and then Luther Burden is questionable. And Brady Cook and Cody Schrader were listed as probable. And I think that's a lot of, just gamesmanship and all of that. Here's the fact of the matter. This Missouri team has been embarrassed 2 years in a row by Tennessee. They've been taken out behind the woodshed. This is a different Missouri team. They are better. They are better defensively. And you've got a really potent offense. You've got a good quarterback who's playing well and a stout running back. Here's the thing. You talk about momentum. You're going on the road. It is a bounce-back game for Missouri. How do they handle that? How do they respond? It's an afternoon kick, so I don't think it's going to be as hostile as a 7 o'clock kick would. But I do think it's going to be a close game. I said at the opening, at the top of the show, talked about this is probably the third game. You look on paper, compare the teams, compare the stats, look at what each team is good at, what they excel at. And, it's remarkable how Tennessee has played teams that mirror themselves. And you look at teams that have had, going back to Alabama, the quarterback play was questionable for Alabama all season. And you've had talk of who's it going to be, Milroe, or, who emerges. And then there have been people constantly questioning Joe Milton. But I do think at the end of the day, Tennessee, they just have too much in the arsenal. And I think, like Boogie said, this running back room, these three guys, and being able to plug in and sub somebody with fresh legs that is going to be running as strong and as hard as who starts at play one late in the game in the fourth quarter. That's going to be the difference. I've got Tennessee coming away with a 3-point win, 27-24.
I'll take it. I'll take it. You're right there with me, right there close. Boys, we got a big one coming up on Saturday. I want to thank you guys. We got 300 people still watching. Thank you guys for choosing us. I know there are a lot of options now. Look, we weren't the first, but I think we were the most innovative. I think we have created something special right here on YouTube with the Talkin VAWLS Network, because I think it truly is for the fans, by the fans. As you can tell by Coach Rice jumping on here, X Factor, Matt Begley jumps on. Dustin Sellers is going to be doing the post-game show on Saturday. I think we've created something unique and special, so I thank you guys for choosing us. Look, there are a lot of imitators. There are a lot of people out there trying to follow this exact formula and mimic what we're doing here. Guess what? We're the first. We're the original. Shout out to BBD. He's the OG. He's been doing this thing forever. But I think we are the best platform, the best community for Tennessee football on YouTube. I will go on record of saying it. So thank you guys for choosing us. Tell somebody about Talkin VAWLS this week. If you got a buddy that watches Tennessee football, say, hey, man, go check out Talkin VAWLS on YouTube. If you see the tweets that we're going live or dropping a video, whatever it is, man, hit that heart, hit that retweet. Let somebody know it's a numbers game. Everything is ridiculous. It's a numbers game. So share this thing out. Let people know about Talkin VAWLS. We are only successful because of you guys, so shout out to you guys. We will be live Friday morning. But actually, I almost forgot. Don't forget, I did not do the NCAA stream last night. I had basketball evaluations. We're going to be doing the NCAA stream tomorrow night. Late night, crazy insanity. DJ Boogie will probably be in the house. That's what's happened the last couple of weeks. You guys have created a monster. I'm going to continue to do it. Be here tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time for NCAA football. We'll be talking all things Tennessee football. Friday morning, 9:30 a.m. Myself, Coach Jed, we're going to break this thing down one last time. We're going to do a tailgate show an hour before kick. Post-game show coming up immediately after the game. Donovan says, and basketball too, Boogie. Nobody watches basketball. Like I can walk through a parking lot and pick up more loose change and make more money walking through a parking lot than I do covering basketball. So, no. We'll probably do some watch parties, though. We'll do some watch parties. We'll hang out. We'll talk some Tennessee basketball. But the focus of this channel is Tennessee football and Tennessee football recruiting. Coach Rice, I know you've been wanting to talk recruiting. We're going to get into some recruiting. We have to.
I got you, bro.
We have to. Like I know you wanted to last week and we didn't, and I was like, maybe we can bring it up this week. Me, you, and Coach Jay are going to be doing some recruiting talk this offseason.
Sounds good.
Bank on that. But we're going to get out the door here for Dauber, for Coach Rice, for the X Factor. My name is Boogie Bentley. We love you guys. Thank you guys. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go Big Orange.
That we call